Greetings! In today's research, my colleague Maxim and I are going to outline and discuss the main theses, concepts, and ideas of the book Capitalism and Freedom by Milton Friedman. To start with, it is necessary to point out the fact that Milton Friedman was a person convinced about the rationality of the liberal social ideal and was firmly advocating for market economic politics. The first step on this part is Friedman's thought on paternalism and collectivism in the perspective of freedom. The author believes that these two definitions are inconsistent with freedom. He claims that rational adults have no reason to be led or controlled in their risk determination, economic operations, and so on. Moreover, from Friedman's point of view, each paternalistic policy leads to disrespect for the choice and freedom of people. What's more, he claims that the state, in his liberal perspective, is the only basis on which people may prosper in the wanted way and choose what they want and deem to become anyone. Moving further, I would like to describe another idea of Milton Friedman, which is one of the key points of his thoughts. The idea is flexibility and effectiveness of free market. We should start from the beginning of the 20th century, in which various developed and developing states appointed restrictions on economic activity, leading backwards from building free market economies. Friedman points out the US case. In the 20s and 30s of the previous century, labor and labor union were almost the same notions, and both were in high esteem throughout the society. However, the picture changed after the 40s of the 20th century. The notion of collectivism was in decline. The state began to enter the free market period. In the chapters on monetary and fiscal policies, Milton Friedman assumes that unregulated market economy is one of the best ways of preventing economic instability, or even chaos. By the way, the definitions of monetary and fiscal policies are going to be covered in the next part of our research, told by Maxim. In Friedman's view, free market is the key to prevent unforeseen external events such as wars. Besides, the author claims that free market, unlike government intervention into economics, can become the path to greater good, increase the educational level, demise rampant inequality, and support the freedom of individuals. Friedman suggests on the implementation of free market policies due to their basic approach on gaining profit, meaning that the market itself will find the ways to prosperity in order to take these profits out. Concluding the first part, I would like to claim that Friedman provides a clear view on the notion of free market and its efficiency, showing up the initial purpose of free market. What's more, he deems that paternalism and collectivism are fully inconsistent with freedom.
Most useful and memorable ideas I've read in the book were in chapters 3, 4, and 5. In my part, I would continue Denis' speech and outline main Friedman's claims on gold reserves, monetary policy, and fiscal policy. The first idea. Firstly, golden reserves. Friedman claims that to prevent financial instability that was caused by golden reserves, the government should maximize freedom and abandon the policy of golden standard. The main claim of this chapter is that the US is compelled to adopt particular foreign trade policies as a result of its custom of trading gold at fixed price, prohibiting private ownership of the metal for financial gain, and maintaining a specific amount of the metal to support its financial activities. In order to prevent runs on its gold reserves, the United States must block free trade by levying tariffs on imported goods, setting domestic product pricing, and declaring specific exchange rates between foreign currencies. Friedman claims that these actions not only lower overall freedom by limiting free commerce, but also have a detrimental effect on the standard of life for citizens in all involved nations. At the end of the chapter, Friedman suggests that free market is the best tool and states that all governmental interventions in the economy limit freedom even when interventions are held abroad. Secondly, monetary policy. As long as Friedman's own research focuses on monetary policy, that chapter is one of the most technical and difficult. Friedman begins by discussing money and its control. The first issue with money control is determining what criteria should be used to determine the value of the currency. Unlike fiduciary money, the value of which is determined by people's confidence that it would be widely accepted, Friedman analyzes the relative attributes of standard money, the value of which is backed by items such as gold. He is opposed to a comprehensive commodity standard and advocates a mixed standard that strongly embraces government-managed fiduciary money. He illustrates this by outlining the different problems, including three major financial crises created by gold standard money in the United States from 1879 to 1913. When customers want to redeem deposits, for example, banks may refuse to give them gold. Then, Friedman blames the Federal Reserve Bank in the contribution to the Great Depression. He says that the Great Depression exemplifies the issues that might arise when a few persons in the upper echelons of government wield immense authority over a country's monetary system. At last, Friedman suggests creating government of law so that the government might be responsible for only its own rules and wouldn't substitute individual possibilities and opportunities by itself. The third and the last idea, last but not least, fiscal policy. In that chapter, Friedman talks about Keynesian models, government spending, and how the multiplicator works. For the most part, he says that Keynesian followers are wrong in things they think tend to be right. Moreover, Friedman states that government spending is too slow to fix short-term economic crises, and that government very rarely decreases its spending. And also, Friedman quotes Keynes when he said that in the long run, we all are dead. Throughout the chapter, Friedman explores the exact circumstances that would support the Keynesian perspective of the impacts of higher government expenditure. The main assumption underpinning Keynesianism is that every dollar of government expenditure generates much more money for private persons, which is called multiplicator, and organizations than it does for the government. While there are severe scenarios under which this perspective might be accurate, Friedman contends that these events have been and continue to be highly uncommon. However, this has not stopped people from adopting policy judgments based on Keynesian perspective. Well, to sum up, in his book, Capitalism and Freedom, Friedman admires free market, the least government intervention, liberalization, freedom, at least economic, in all things that can and cannot be imagined. Throughout the whole book, Friedman is trying to illustrate why all that freedoms would play a good role in the development of the economy, country, and the society. Thank you for listening to us.